Do do do. Hello guys, how are you? It's your boy Ray Chettle. I listened to Count Dankula a little too much. Hi. Okay, so right now we're gonna watch this State of the Union address by the great Joe Biden, the greatest president that's ever walked this fucking earth, bro. He's fantastic, right? So hold on, let me make sure. All right. So, so, oh my God, stop playing. Yeah. Eh. Okay, just had to make sure I was live. Yeah. All right. So I missed this the other day. What was it? Yesterday? I missed it yesterday, and I was just like, fuck it. Might as well watch it today. So, and don't mind my outfit, okay? Just left the gym. I felt, I just wanted to hurry up and do this because got other shit to do. Had to clean cars because it felt good today. First day of the year that it's been like over 60 degrees, so that's why I did it. All right, so it's going to turn this into a drinking game, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, the rules that I set up would get it was two things would happen. I would either run out of beer or I would be like completely fucked up if I get like some tequila or something. But you can do it if you want. The rules are take a shot or take a drink if Biden stumbles over his words, if he like flip flops, whatever, blah blah blah, assuming them damada pressure, all that stuff. If he does that, take a drink. If he mentions Trump, take a drink. If he says anything about unity and then go back on it, like if he says unity and then each time he goes back on like saying that we're united, like if he said we need to be united, and then he says something like Republicans suck, okay, take a drink. If he lies, take a drink. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of drinking. But enough chit chat. Let's get into it. Let's see.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Just gonna check and make sure it's loud enough. That is loud enough. All right, let's go. Oh, let's put inappropriate touching on there too. That's why it was like turned down in my headset. It's like this thing sounds so fucking low. Let's see. Do some inappropriate touching. Come on, Biden, you got it in you. Come on, corn pop. I wonder if this signing lady is really happy or she just like what's she looking at? She's just looking down. Did she really have to sign? Was that clapping? I guess so. You can sign for clapping just so that deaf people can know. But they can see. They're deaf, not freaking blind. They can see they're clapping. I was about to say, what if they're just listening to us, then they couldn't see it, but they were like, ah, right. Yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy that, like, I don't know if I'm louder than this room. Just mute it real quick. It's crazy that, like, all you see is a bunch of fucking old farts in here. Just a bunch of old people. And that dude looked like a turtle. Oh, I can't even show it. Never mind. That dude looked like a fucking turtle. Who that in the yellow though? She kind of big, but I don't know if that's the angle or something. But girl, lady in the yellow kind of thick, man. What the hell was that? What type of salute was that? It's like, well, aren't you? Aren't you supposed to salute with your left hand? Is it right? Left. I thought it was the left hand. I don't know. It's been a while. It hasn't been with the left, right? I don't know. Yeah, I look that up. That's gonna bother me. What hand? Ah, it is the right hand. What the fuck is that? Ugh. I hate other countries. I mean, don't hate them, but it's so weird. Inappropriate touching. That's another thing. It's so weird to have like people like cheering for the president. Like, why are they cheering? Like in any president too. Like it doesn't. Not just Biden. It's like, why do we cheer for a president? Like he's a celebrity or something. Guess he is famous, but like that's just weird. All right, he's starting to talk. Let's get it.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you. You can
Smile
it's
and wave,
okay.
boys. Smile and wave.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Please.
Well, this man's face looks fucked.
Mr.
Bro. He's
Speaker,
too old.
Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress.
You've never heard like them say like a second lady when referring to the vice president. I've never heard that before. I mean, they might have, but I just never heard it.
By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans.
Oh, Americans.
You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Speaker of the House. Let's go. Nice gesture, Biden. Nice gesture. So congratulations to the Republicans. Nice gesture. Actually, that's good.
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. And I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries.
Ah, who cares about the first black, whatever? No one gives a crap. Well, clearly people do care. They don't. Shit's stupid.
He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest-serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Thought presidents couldn't campaign for it. Like he could say it, but you can't like put political ideas up there or something. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Chuck Schumer, another, another term as Senate Minority Leader. I think only this time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah. Well, I tell you what.
Can you be the minority majority leader? Drink.
The greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
Nice. That bitch is a bitch. Fuck Nancy Pelosi. With her insider trading and shit. Fuck her.
Folks, the story of America is a story of progress and resilience, of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years.
Lies. Okay. How did I know that he was going to say this? Okay. First of all, he didn't create any jobs. Let's just, he didn't create any fucking new jobs. When we were shut down, the jobs went away. And then they came back. We're still below, right? I'm pretty sure we're still below where we were before the pandemic. So you didn't create any fucking new jobs, Biden. That's just a fucking lie. Like that's just so crazy. Like, oh, I took your money away, and I took $50 away from you, and I gave you $40. I take $50 away from you. I gave you $40 back. I just gave you 40 new dollars. Just be proud of that. Well, I created 40 new dollars, man. I think that was a bad analogy. Something like you get it. You get it. This dude fucking didn't create shit. The jobs just came back.
Because of you all. Because of the American people.
Just lies. Lies. Drink.
2 years ago. And 2 years ago, COVID had shut down, our businesses were closed, our schools were robbed of so much, and today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threat to the Civil War, and today, though bruised, our democracy...
Doesn't he still, like, say shit about COVID, like, every fucking chance he gets?
Democracy remains unbowed and unbroken.
COVID doesn't control our lives, except when I need to fearmonger and say it controls your lives. Go get the vax. Go do it. Even though it doesn't control your life, just go get the vaccine. You know what doesn't control your life? The flu. No one's pushing anybody to get a flu shot. They just say, hey, you want it? Go get it. Should be the same with the vaccine. See ya, doctor. See if the vaccine is right for you.
As we gather here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I say I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility.
It's cool.
You know,
I
we're
say
often
freedom.
told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together. To...
Was that a shot? Was that a shot? He was like, Democrats and Republicans work together, but yeah, just sometimes the Democrats had to do it by themselves. I'm gonna take that as a shot. Like, he was like unity. Like I said, If he mentions like doing shit together and then takes a shot at the fucking Republicans, take a drink. I will count that. He was like, we can work together, but sometimes Democrats have to do it alone. Like, that's a shot at Republicans.
Defend a stronger and safer Europe. You came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact, it was important. And in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well.
William Bill sounded like pointless to me. Because gay marriage is already, it has to be, right?
Folks,
That just makes no sense to me. Like you did nothing.
you all are as informed as I am, but I think the people sent us a clear message. Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view.
Let's see.
For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out in more than, and not no one administration, but for a long time. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories
Because you want to
close
raise their
down.
taxes.
Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. Along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth.
That's just the
I
president.
ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do.
It's funny that the people who want to change America the most is saying, "Hey, have pride in America." Fuck you. Dude, what? You don't like America. You want to change America. Fuck
To
off.
build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
The middle class does well. The poor has a. How did middle class become the middle class?
I know a lot of you always kid me
They
for
were
always
poor.
quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it.
It's mostly about
Folks,
the paycheck.
So let's look at the results.
Who knows the paycheck?
We're
we
not
wouldn't be
finished
working at
yet
the
by
job,
any
so.
stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. A near record.
That's not true. Well, it might be stupid, okay, but the only reason those numbers are like that is because he, what is it? Like, they don't count the people that are just like bow out of the fucking job market, period. Like, people that aren't like just at fuck working, period, they're not counted as in the unemployment number. So what? Like, that's not true. That's just not true. Another lie. Drink.
A near record unemployment.
There's a lot of
Near
people.
record unemployment.
A lot of people during COVID just was like, fuck it.
Created, your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years. And where is it written? Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? And I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks, inflation has been a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains and Putin's unfair and brutal war
Say a lie.
in Ukraine.
Say a lie. Before Ukraine even invaded, I mean, before Russia even invaded, inflation was going up. He's just a fucking liar, dude. It's because his policy was just to shut shit down. You shut shit down. That's all. Like, that's why I fucking. Wait. My turn. I think I'm thinking about the right shit. That's why our economy was doing shitty because niggas just shut shit down.
Disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine. But we're better positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough.
Okay. Where was gas before Biden took office? Think about that. Where was gas before he took office? Yeah. So, it can be down, but it's not. You're doing shitty, yeah. You're fucked up.
Coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months, while take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, over the last 2 years,
inflation hasn't gone down. Inflation, like, he's thinking about, like, week-to-week inflation. That's what he always counts. Like, oh, it's gone down this much from this week to that week. That's what he always counts. He never looks at the full fucking picture. It's like a lying by omission. These motherfuckers try to, like, manipulate you with the numbers, but you gotta look at them. Look at the numbers yourself, and you can see that shit ain't going down drastically anyway.
A record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way, every time someone starts a small business is an act of hope. And Madam Vice President, I want.
But you want to raise their taxes, so it's not act though. Like you raise motherfuckers' taxes. You think they want to start businesses? No, they will not.
I want to thank you for leading that effort to ensure that small businesses have access to capital and the historic laws we enacted that are going to just come into being.
One down.
Standing here last year, I shared with you a story of American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything, from cell phones to automobiles and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America. We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up, people got laid off. So did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. We can never let that happen again. That's why.
That's what happens when you shut shit down.
That's why we came together to pass the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act.
And that shit did nothing. That shit was just a bunch of white noise. If you read that shit, it was a bunch of white noise. I gotta reread it, and then I'm probably gonna do a video about that shit. But that shit was just useless, just like any other thing that they fucking do.
Folks, I know I've been criticized for saying this, but I'm not changing my view. We're going to make sure the supply chain for America begins in America. The supply chain.
How? By shutting down businesses? By taxing businesses more? By putting more taxes on oil and fucking trying to, like, do this whole green shit? Dude, you're not incentivizing any America to start their business in America. What you sound like is that you're going to make it harder or make it even less desirable to grow a business because you're just trying to tax them more the more they go up. Man, I went up one tax bracket. Just one. All my fucking money came from I'm like, bro, did my taxes. I was like, what the fuck, dude? No. Fuck that.
Begins in America. We've already created We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law.
Didn't create any jobs. The jobs were just coming back. You didn't create shit.
Before the law kicks in.
I will say this again. If you start from a high number, and then the number drops down, and then the number goes back a little bit, you haven't created shit. You have to go above the number that you started with to say that you've created new jobs. You didn't create shit. The jobs just came back. The fuck? The market shut down. The market opened back up. Jobs. No shit, Sherlock.
With this new
But they think that he's talking to Democrats right now. That's who he's talking to. And Democrats are fucking, no, not all. But a lot of them are freaking idiots.
law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country. Throughout, not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years. Outside of Columbus, Ohio, Intel is building semiconductor factories on 1,000 acres, literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one investment, 7,000 construction jobs, 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They call them factories. Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year, and many do not require.
And you're going to tax them a fucking shitload of money because that's no longer middle class, man. That's upper middle, bro. You want to tax them? They're the wealthy then.
Require a college degree. Jobs. Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. And it's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs.
Just make lazy
and the
people.
factories that are going to be built.
More people
Talk
lazy.
to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. And folks, as you all know, we used to be #1 in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th in the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system.
Can you see what that shit had in it? Did anyone know what that has in it? It's not all infrastructure. And the fucking
Already
Republicans.
we've funded over 20,000
Republicans
projects,
are stupid for fucking
including
going
major
along
airports
with it
from
too.
Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet, all across America. Urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started. We're just getting started.
I should have put that in there too. Take a drink if he ever whispers. That should have been in there.
I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law, and my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking. Look, this law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, I'm talking about...
He was vice president. He's been in Congress for like, what, over 50 years? He's been in the government, so it's you. Like what? This is the problem. Whenever Biden talks about like the past and stuff like that, I'm just like, bro, you had some sort of power, bro. You could have said something about it. You were a vice president, at least, and wasn't he a senator or something? Congressman, whatever. He was something.
Fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans and from both states to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project.
Now, that just sounds like
While I was
a
there,
taxes, bro. Every time I
I
hear
met
it.
a young woman named Sarah,
Couple billion.
who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys in the Sky. The folks who built Cincinnati's skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America, 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water.
No, I'm gonna be a freaking broken record now because he's saying shit that was a problem when he was a vice president. I ain't fix it in.
Instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look, we're making sure.
Like Flint was a problem when the fucking Obama was the president. Like lead pipes and all that shit was a problem when he was vice president. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about now we're gonna do something about it. Why didn't you do something then, buddy?
We're making sure that every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with their kids, which many thousands were doing across the country.
Kids shouldn't be doing that homework.
And when we
online.
do
That's
these
stupid.
projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it. We're going to buy American. We're going to buy American. Folks, and it's totally consistent with international trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933.
Why don't you just talk to Elon Musk? Skynet. Skynet? Forgot what that shit's called. It's probably not called Skynet. But didn't he like refuse to talk to Elon Musk about like eco-friendly cars and shit? So I don't want to hear that bullshit either, bro.
But for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards that require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
That's cool.
Made in America. I mean it.
You said to follow through. It's cool. Sounds
Lumber,
good.
glass, drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, and American highways are going to be made with American products as well.
Hey,
Folks,
listen.
my
If that's true, better invest in some American steel. Shit. This is not official financial advice. I'm just saying. What?
economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten.
Because that shit expensive.
So many of you listen to me tonight.
Shit's gonna go up.
I know you feel it.
Let me check right now. Let me
So
check
many
the
of you
stocks
felt like you've just
after
simply
he
been
said that.
forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you? The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why, I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back. Because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America and make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's name happens if your spouse gets cancer, or your child gets deadly ill, or something happens to you. What are you going to get money to pay for those medical bills? Or are you going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it? I get it. I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interest to bring health care costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again. We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do, and in the audience. But every day, millions need insulin to control their diabetes so they can literally stay alive. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making record profits. Not anymore. Not anymore. So many things that we did are only now coming to fruition. We said we were doing this, and we said we passed a law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin.
I just thought about something he said. Didn't he? I might be mistaken, but I thought he reversed Trump's executive order making insulin lower. I might be wrong, but could have sworn that's what he did. I may be mistaken, but I'll be right back. Intermission. Cut that out. The fuck? Sorry.
At $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. People are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting. Look, there are millions of other Americans who do not or are not on Medicare including 200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes and need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35. Folks, and Big Pharma's still going to do very well, I promise y'all.
Yep.
I promise you they're going to do.
He did. Yeah. So Biden did reverse. No, he freezes the Trump HHS rule meant to lower insulin prices. Yeah, I knew he did that shit. Like, so just fucking see, you see that? I read, I know some stuff. I don't know everything. I'm pretty stupid, but I know some stuff.
Very well. This law also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many in my family, have cancer. You know the drugs can range from $10, $11, $14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs. And if drug prices rise faster than inflation, drug companies are going to have to pay Medicare back the difference. We're finally.
Okay. Shit, bro. I'm so stupid. I don't get this. So you make drug companies lower their prices, right? And then you tell them if their prices go higher or if someone has to pay more, then they will have to pay it back? How does that even work? Say I'm selling a product, right? If I sell this can of beer, this one can, $10, and you make me sell it for $5. And if it goes over $5, I'm gonna have to pay that back. So I'm gonna just be losing money the whole time. That makes no sense to me. But I'm stupid, so it might work, but no, that just doesn't make sense to me.
We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money, it cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs are drugs purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what? Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way, why wouldn't we want that? Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm going to exaggerate, but threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach, that's okay. That's fair.
Yeah, because it doesn't reduce inflation. How can you reduce inflation if the government's spending more money? How does that reduce inflation? That's increasing. Bro, it's fucking stupid. The Inflation Reduction Act, it's cost like a couple billion, a couple $1 trillion. That's the government spending more money, which is going to increase inflation. Like, what are you talking about? That unless I'm fucking stupid, unless I'm that stupid, bro, and I might be, but that just doesn't make any sense to me. The inflation is caused by the government's, like how the government spends their money, and if you spend more money, right? Am I tripping? I might be tripping. But I think that's how inflation works. Might be stupid, but how you gonna reduce inflation by spending more money to reduce inflation? And then somebody who who was like champion the bill, he was like, "Yeah, this is not going to reduce inflation. It's not designed to reduce inflation."
As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of producing jobs, I will veto it.
What did he just say? Hold up. Nope, we're going back.
Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of producing jobs, I will veto it.
I will veto it. I'm going to say that's a gaffe.
Look, I'm pleased to say that more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, saving millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid.
It just sounds like more of my tax dollars. No, thank you. I'm good.
Look, the Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever.
What the fuck does investing in climate change have to do with inflation, bro? Oh, it's stupid.
Lowering utility bills, creating American jobs, leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath of record floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been burned, as I've observed from helicopters, than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery, from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems will withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers.
Bro,
and
it's all spending, bro.
We're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient appliances, energy-efficient appliances.
Bullshit.
Historic conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land. Let's face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat.
No, it's not.
We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren, to confront it. I'm proud of how America, at last, is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we do.
It's so stupid, though. America, okay, on the global scale, it's a small-ass fucking country, right? You can't just be like, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to reduce climate change if it's even affecting the way that people say it is, because whatever. But you got China, India, all these other countries that's just like, I don't give a fuck. But America, yeah, we're going to lower the climate change. Fuck off. That shit's stupid.
But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job. And we pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share.
How much is their fair share? Because if I'm not mistaken, all the big corporations pay like most of the taxes in the world. Like everyone, all the big corporations pay. The rich pay the most taxes. Like they contribute the most.
Just begin.
And you're already talking about taxing them for everything. Then you're going to tax them more. Like, that's so stupid. And then, nigga, you wondering why, like, manufacturing jobs are moving out of the United States. That's, God, idiot. God.
Look, I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. I think a lot of you at home A lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is.
It's not fair because you make it unfair. You've been in power for a long time. I'll say again. You've been in power for most of your life. You've been the vice president. Now you're the president. It's you. You're the problem.
Not fair.
Most of these people in this room are the problem. Like I said at the beginning, like it's just a bunch of old people complaining about what they've done or what they haven't done. Like that's so stupid.
Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero?
That's a lie.
Folks,
That's a big ass lie, bro. He's just lying. Lying. He's a liar. Drink because he's a liar.
it's simply not fair. But now, because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays.
If a nurse, let's just say a nurse, makes $100,000 and she pays 50%, 15%. He's saying that's less than a billionaire paying 15%. That's where these people like like you are confused the fuck out of me. Like so- if someone's making more, they're paying 15% of the more. That's why I said the billionaires, millionaires paid like most of the taxes. It's I don't think we should be paying taxes at all, but he's just wrong. He's stupid.
And let me be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not.
What's the presidential salary? 400,000? Sounds like a conflict of interest.
One penny.
Let me be sure. I gotta
But
make
let's
sure.
finish
I
the
think
job. There's more to do.
Because that'd
We
be
have to
crazy.
reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax. You know, there's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of the term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. I mean it. Think about it.
$400,000 is the presidential salary, and he said he's going to cap it at $400,000. Oh, what? What? How? How convenient.
I mean, look. I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis.
Okay. Everyone
I think
needs
it's
oil.
outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells, all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed and beyond that. We're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested.
You know what? I'm laughing because he said at least another decade. No, we're going to need oil like forever. Oil's not going anywhere, bro. And like no time soon anyway. And what did he just say? He said some stupid. Oh, because they're afraid that he's going to shut down their production. That's because that's what you said, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they're ridiculous. Oh, they're so ridiculous for taking me at my word.
Invested in the production to keep gas prices down. Instead, they use the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding their CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments. They'll still make considerable profit.
Everything he's saying about the corporation is just the corporations will look at that and be like, "Yo, why would I even like continue to run my business in America? It's too high."
Finish the job and close the loopholes that allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats. That's being fiscally responsible. In the last 2 years, my administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25%
Mention Trump, take a drink.
of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out.
That's not true.
Check it out.
That is not true.
How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis.
Take a drink, bro.
They paid
Just
American
keep
bills
lying,
to prevent an economic disaster to the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not.
Finish your drink on that one. What? Instead of making people pay their fair share, they want medical or whatever expensive till sunset, right? Where the fuck did? Let me. I gotta rewind that bit. Let's hear what he's. I gotta make sure I heard.
Some of
that
my
right.
Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not.
Medicare and Social Security to sunset. No fucking Republican wants that. He's fucking lying. Finish your damn drink. That's a damn what? What did he say? What?
I'm not saying it's a majority.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote.
That sounds like
Well,
Marjorie
I'm glad
Taylor
to
Greene
see
says
you.
liar.
I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even
none.
a significant.
It's zero, bro.
But it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you.
Zero. Lies, bro. He's lying.
Folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
Bro just lied his ass off, bro. I told you, bro. He's not talking to people. He's not talking to all Americans. He's talking to Democrats who are stupid, bro.
we all apparently agree Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be started. All right. I'm ready. We got unanimity. Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are, let's stand up for seniors.
I think all that should be a conflict of interest. Seeing nothing but seniors in this fucking room. I know there's a few fucking younger people, but it's mostly old. And most of these motherfuckers are old as shit.
Stand up and show them. We'll not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare.
Why not?
Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it.
That's not what they were saying.
And look, I'm not going to allow them to take away.
Oh, wait, why did he just try to flip that? He said that the Republicans wanted it to sunset. That means they wanted it, and they want to keep expanding it. That's what he was saying. Now he's saying, oh, yeah, they're saying that they won't touch it. No, that's not what they said.
Taken away, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my fiscal plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that. I can tell you, the plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight, by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud, endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion.
Fact check. Live fact check.
It's exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill that cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving consumers more than $1 billion a year.
That's cool.
We're cutting credit card late fees by 75% from $30 to $8.
It doesn't affect me, but I'm pretty sure that's cool.
Junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company overcharges you and gets away with it.
Fuck yeah.
Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees that hotels.
It sounds good, but you're gonna have to read into that bill because they be putting a lot of fluff in there. Because they dangle the little treat in front of you, and you don't even know. Like a dog, you're like, oh, it's filled with treat, but it got medicine in it. It's got poison in it. So it all sounds good, but you probably put some other bullshit in there.
Charge on your bill. Those fees can cost you up to $90 a night at hotels that aren't even resorts. The idea that cable, internet, and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break. We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front. And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for a family just to be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough.
No. Because if you got seats, you're gonna have to move people around a little more to get your family together. Like if it's like full plane and then you got to move passengers around, you're going to have to pay more. That's just extra. Like it's extra for you to want to sit together. That's it. Of course, that's extra. Like that's not anything. Yeah.
Airlines can't treat your child like a piece of baggage. Americans
I
are
don't even know
tired
what
of
that
being.
means.
We're tired of being played for suckers. So pass the Junk Fee Prevention Act so companies stop ripping us off. For too long, workers have been getting stiffed, but not anymore. We're beginning to restore the dignity of work. For example, I should have known this, but I didn't until 2 years ago. 30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements for the jobs they take. 30 million. So a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more. It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it. That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. But not anymore. We're banning those agreements so companies have to compete for workers and pay them what they're worth.
Hold up. I think that's for like larger corporations and stuff, so you don't take their ideas onto another corporation. I don't think you can. I don't think it's like you can't be a cashier somewhere else. That just sounds ridiculous. That sounds untrue. Like if you say non-compete agreements, that's like for like say I'm a law firm and I'm gonna go work for another law firm or some shit like that. Like you got to be high up. You can't just be like a fucking cashier or something.
And I must tell you,
To my knowledge.
this is bound to get a response from my friends on my left but the right. I'm so sick and tired of companies breaking the law by preventing workers from organizing. Pass the PRO Act, because businesses have a right, workers have a right to form a union.
I don't want to form a union.
And let's guarantee
Let's see
all
what the
workers
PRO
have a
Act
living
is.
wage. Let's make sure working parents can afford to
PRO
raise a family with sick days, paid family medical leave, affordable child care. That's going to enable millions of more people to go and stay at work. And let's restore the full child tax credit, which gave tens of millions of parents some breathing room and cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. And by the way, when we do all these things, we increase productivity, we increase economic growth. So let's finish the job and get more families access to affordable, quality housing. Let's get seniors who want to stay in their homes the care they need to do so. Let's give more breathing room to millions of family caregivers looking after their loved ones. Pass my plan so we get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need. And support the workers who are doing God's work. These plans are fully paid for and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work
Bro,
means
this
making
nigga just came
education
in
an
here and
affordable
okay.
ticket to the middle class.
Hold up, I'll be right back. Fuck, man. What was unlocking page? It's dead. The leg is dead. Yo, fucking leg fell asleep. I'm still asleep. Had it up too long.
You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it, universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world. But the rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up. Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. Any nation that out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of the 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree, no matter their background they came from.
Sounds like my tax money, bro.
Let's give public school teachers a raise.
Yeah.
We're making progress by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families.
All my
Let's
money,
finish the
Beth.
job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college, the best career training in America, in addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree.
So,
Let's offer every
yeah.
American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not.
my money.
Folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when schools were closed and we were shutting down everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened up our country. We opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress...
Coming from the guy that just said it doesn't affect your lives. Right? How you said it's going to affect your life. Fuck that. That shit's stupid.
needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat.
Should never shut down in first place.
Before I came to office, you remember, during that campaign, the big issue was about inspector generals who would protect taxpayers' dollars who were sidelined. They were fired. Many people said we don't need them,
Shouldn't be in your text message.
and fraud became rampant. Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back.
Just
Since then,
just go to your
since
last
then, we've
picture that I
recovered
sent you and
billions of
then scroll
taxpayers'
backwards.
dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars.
I don't have it.
Billions of dollars from the American people. And the data shows that for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe. Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know. But too often that trust is violated. Joining us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols. Welcome.
Don't care. Really don't care.
We had to bury Tyree last week.
They send me on the phone. Huh? Yo. Listen. Who the fuck cares, bro? Like, they keep on, like, every time, every fucking State of the Union, right? These niggas want to bring out a black family. But all the white people that got killed by police. What about their families? Tyree Nichols, who the fuck cares? It's an individual case. Fuck him. Not fuck him, but like it's just pointless. It's just pandering, bro. That shit's annoying.
As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine.
This nigga resisted. If he wouldn't have resisted, he would still be alive. They beat his ass though, but first problem. Ran. If he wouldn't have ran, he'd be alive. It's a fact. Shame they beat his ass like that though. That was fucked up.
Having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, or playing in the park, or just driving a car.
Don't have to worry about it.
Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children.
And that's a dumbass thing too. Say that only black people do that shit. We get pulled over by the cops. Hands up to the two, say yes sir, no sir. Every fucking. Actually, I ain't even had that shit because I ain't a fucking dumbass. But I think everyone, like most parents, do that shit. Like that's just fucking. When you start driving, that's what happens. Hands up to the two, yes sir, no sir. Get your license ready. Blah blah blah. Happens. Black or white, it doesn't fucking matter.
Bo, Hunter,
Shut the
Ashley,
fuck up.
my children. I never had to have the talk with them. I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over.
No, that's because you're fucking rich, dude. What? So all you gotta do is say, if a police officer pulls you over, say, my dad's Joe Biden. That's all you gotta say. Hey, shut the fuck up. I'm doing something. Why don't you be a little quieter and then just say what you need or text me?
Turn your interior lights on right away. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Everyone does that.
Imagine having to worry like that every single time your kid
Everyone
got in a
does
car.
that. That's just so stupid.
Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out.
You should have asked her why her son ran.
With the faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul.
Wait. He said black people have that conversation, saying that tend to do. Yes sir, no sir. Don't reach for your license. He ain't listening to none of that shit. That's why that nigga dead. It's crazy, sad, crazy. Oh my god, it's so sad.
and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to us, to all of us. We all want the same thing. Neighborhoods free of violence. Law enforcement who earns the community's trust. Just as every cop, when they pin on that badge in the morning, has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there. Our children have a right to come home safely. Equal protection under the law is a covenant we have with each other in America.
Just so y'all know, it's 5 black officers that fucking beat up a black dude to death. So
We know police officers put their lives on the line every single night and day. And we know we ask them in many cases to do too much, to be counselors, social workers, psychologists, responding to drug overdoses, mental health crises, and so much more. In one sense, we ask much too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority. But they risk their lives every time they put that shield on. But what happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards.
in order to give them training, you need to fund them. But your people don't want to do that.
Help them succeed in keeping us safe. We also need more first responders and professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges. More resources to reduce violent crime and gun crime. More community intervention programs. More investment in housing, education, and job training. All this can help prevent violence in the first place. And when police officers or police departments violate the public trust, they must be held accountable.
They are.
With the support
It's insane.
of the families of victims, civil rights groups, and law enforcement, I signed an executive order for all federal officers banning chokeholds,
Stupid.
restricting no-knock warrants,
Stupid.
and other key elements of the George Floyd Act.
Why ban chokeholds? Chokeholds don't kill people. Chokeholds don't kill people. No knock warrants. You want to knock on the door and the fucking suspect destroys evidence. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's why they have no knock warrants, so you can catch the suspect by surprise. So they can't do shit. They can't get ready before you go in. You're going to cause more officers to die. You're going to cause the criminals to destroy more evidence. That's what's going to happen. It's fucking stupid. It's a bunch of people that don't know anything about law enforcement want to talk about law enforcement.
Commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true. Something good must come from this. Something good. And all of us, folks, it's difficult, but it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do something. That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Thank God. Thank God we did. Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades.
What is that?
That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old, red flag laws, keeping
No
guns
one
out of the
supports
hands.
those. Red flag laws are fucking stupid. Anybody can call on you and say, hey, this guy's got a gun. Take it away. That's stupid.
People are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Joining us tonight is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side when she was dying from cancer. And Brandon now works at the dance studio started by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close, and he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestle the semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now.
Ban assault weapons. What the fuck is an assault weapon? It's the problem. They want to ban something that they can't even describe. They think an AR-15 is an assault weapon. It's stupid.
Once and for all.
And he just lost like more than half of Americans right there. That's fucking stupid.
I led the fight to do that in 1994.
And it did nothing.
In 10 years, that ban was law and mass shootings went down. After we let it expire in the Republican administration, mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons. And let's also come together.
Let's make this clear. Most mass shootings are committed with fucking pistols, bro. Like, what is he talking about? Like rifles.
On immigration. Make it a bipartisan issue once again. We now have a record number of personnel working to secure the border, arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months.
And you let how many in? Couple 100,000 a month?
Launched a new border plan last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that. But American border problems won't be fixed until Congress acts. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border. And a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Here in the People's House, it's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right and the Congress must restore the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade. Give every woman a constitutional right. The Vice President and I are doing everything
Don't have the
to
right
protect
to an
access to
abortion.
reproductive health care and safeguard patient safety. But already more than a
This is
dozen states are
fucking
enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's also pass the Bipartisan Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity.
What's that even
Our
mean?
strength, our strength is not just the example of our power, but the power of our example.
The fuck does
Let's
that even
remember the
mean, bro?
world's watching. I spoke in this chamber 1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine. A murderous assault, evoking images of death and destruction Europe suffered in World War II. Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, a test for America, a test for the world. Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? Would we stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Would we stand for the defense of democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity.
Sounds like a couple more billion to Ukraine. What? I had a do-rag on. Semen.
One year later,
You got headphones?
we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did. And together, we did what America always does at our best. We led. We united NATO. We built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression. We stood with the Ukrainian people to deny.
We spent billions of your tax dollars and sent it to Ukraine, and we don't know what's happening over there with it, but that's what we did.
We're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Our ambassador is here, united. We're united in our support of your country. Will you stand so we can all take a look at you?
Listen, I've been fair with, like, not saying it's a gaffe when it's actually a gaffe, so that was a fucking gaffe. Take a drink.
Thank you. Because we're going to stand with you as long as it takes. Our nation is working for more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere. Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power and America was failing in the world. Not anymore. We made clear, and I made clear in my personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries that will define the future that China intends to be dominating.
Chinese spy balloon
Investing
fly
in
over
our
the
alliance.
whole entirety of the United States. Bullshit.
And working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world. But make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did. Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, The bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never. Well, when I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship assumed was impossible, but never believed it. That's why a year ago I offered a unity agenda to the nation as I stood here. We made real progress together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. We passed the gun safety law making historic investments in mental health.
Yo, fuck off.
We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer.
It's always something, bro. I gotta go. Let's fast forward through this. I gotta go. Fuck.
The VA.
It sucks.
We had a first real discussion when I asked him to take the job.
Yeah, whatever. Damn it. See?
Let's end cancer as we know it.
They're not going to, bro. You can't
Cure
end
some
cancer. That's so
cancers
freaking stupid. That's the dumbest
once and
thing to
for
say.
all.
Let's stop cancer. Let's stop cancer. You're not going to stop cancer? Okay. I got to stop here. I have to go. But that's it. State of the Union. He's fucking lying throughout the whole thing. I hope you're not too drunk. He was lying throughout the whole thing. He was gaffing all over the place. He's just a fucking partisan hack. He's been in this career for like over 50 years, and he's complaining about the things that's been happening while he was president. That's fucking, it's your fault. You're the problem. And all these old people in the fucking chamber, they're the problem as well. But those are my thoughts. And I'm out of here.